There was once a man known throughout his town as an honest man. Not just honest in words, but honest in action. People trusted him. Merchants trusted him. Neighbors trusted him. His name alone was enough to convince others that things would be done the right way. From a young age, he had been taught that honesty was wealth greater than money. His father used to tell him, "If you protect your character will protect you." And for many years, that advice guided every decision he made. The man worked as a trader, traveling between villages, buying and selling goods. He never cheated anyone. If a customer paid extra by mistake, he returned it. If goods were damaged, he told the buyer before the sale. Because of this, his reputation grew, and with it, his business. But one day, something changed. It didn't happen suddenly. It started quietly, with a thought. One morning, as he prepared his goods for sale, he noticed something small but important. A few items had defects, nothing major. Most customers wouldn't notice unless they looked closely. As he held them in his hands, a thought crossed his mind. If I sell these as they are, I'll lose money. Another thought followed quickly. Everyone else would still sell them. He shook his head and reminded himself of who he was. "I am an honest man," he said out loud. And for that moment, the thought passed. But thoughts have a way of returning when you don't guard your mind. Later that day, he passed by another trader who was counting a large stack of money, smiling proudly. The sight stirred something inside him, a quiet comparison, a silent question. Why am I not making as much as him? That night, as he lay in bed, his mind replayed the image, the money, the success, the ease, and again, the thought returned. It's only a small defect. No one will be harmed. Just this once. He didn't act on it. But he didn't stop the thought either. Days passed and business slowed. Expenses increased. Pressure began to grow. And as pressure grows, the mind becomes louder. One morning, faced with the same defective goods, the thoughts were no longer whispers. They were arguments. You deserve better. You've been honest for years. Where has that gotten you? Just this once won't change who you are. And for the first time in his life, he listened. He sold the goods without saying anything. The customer smiled and thanked him. The money exchanged hands. And the man felt something strange. It wasn't joy. It wasn't relief. It was silence. A silence where his conscience used to speak. At first, nothing happened. No punishment. No consequences. The world went on as usual, and that made it worse. See, the mind whispered. Nothing happened. The next time, it became easier. A little lie here. An omission there. A justification every time. And with each small decision, something inside him weakened. He still told himself he was honest. But his actions were slowly disagreeing. One day, a young boy came to his stall with his mother. The boy examined the goods carefully, just as the man once had when he was young. Their eyes met for a brief moment. And for the first time in a long while, the man felt uncomfortable. That night, he couldn't sleep. The silence in his heart had turned heavy. Memories of his father's words returned. The trust people placed in him replayed in his mind. And suddenly, he realized something painful. He hadn't become dishonest overnight. He had simply stopped controlling his thoughts. He understood then that every action begins in a mind. Before the lie was spoken, it was imagined. Before the wrong was done, it was justified internally. That night, he made a decision. The next morning, he returned money to a customer he had deceived the day before. The customer was shocked. Word spread quickly. Some laughed at him. Some called him foolish. But something else returned too. Peace. Business didn't improve immediately. In fact, things became harder for a while. But his mind was no longer divided. His thoughts and actions were finally aligned again. Over time, trust returned stronger than before. People didn't just see him as honest anymore. They saw him as courageous. And the man learned a lesson that stayed with him for the rest of his life. You don't lose your character when you make one mistake. You lose it when you allow unchecked thoughts to rule you. Because discipline is not only about what you do, it's about what you allow to live in your mind. Guard your thoughts because they become your actions. Guard your actions because they become your destiny.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the story, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories like this.